Hey, good afternoon, guys. We are the Sports Card Unpacking Bros.
SCUB.
Today, we are not going to be showing you a video of any card opening or openings of packs or anything. We are
Going to be talking about our favorite football team, the Green Bay Packers.
saw he wanted to cut in there.
Yeah, I really wanted to interrupt you. Like, you were kind of really just, it was like...
yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm Mitch.
So we're introducing ourselves after. Okay, I'm Nick.
Yeah. I guess I forgot to introduce myself.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Anyway, so other than when we normally shoot, we have a couple videos out there of us ripping open card packs.
Mm-hmm.
We also wanted to transition into talking about every NFL team. Our favorite sport is football. We love the NFL, as you can tell, diehard Packer fans. So we're going to start off by talking about each NFL team.
Mm-hmm.
We want to discuss just topics, how they finished last year, what they need to improve, and their outlook on this next year. Easiest one to start with is the Packers. We just know them the most.
Know them by heart.
Yep.
Childhood team. Favorite player growing up, Brett Favre.
A lot of heartbreak.
Lot of heartbreak.
Not just the Favre playing, but literally just...
It's devastating. Playoff loss after, we're going to go to all these Super Bowls with Rodgers, and it was just like, nope, psych.
Yeah. So, we brought up playoff heartbreak. How did it end last season?
Tom Brady.
Most of you guys know. Yep, Tom Brady ripped our heart out and stomped on it.
Yeah, as soon as that flag was thrown on Kevin King, like, a lot of me died. Almost all of me. I actually, I left a fantasy group chat I was in because I said, guys, I have to take a break for my own mental health. Like, this is not okay. What's going on?
Yeah, he didn't talk football. We talk football all the time. He didn't talk football for...
About a month.
Yeah,
like, I didn't know if I was going to watch the Super Bowl. I really didn't.
It was...
but I did, and it was a bad Super Bowl.
It was bad, so... Needless to say, the ending sucked. We won 13 games.
Won 13 games, got to another NFC championship.
I say we, by the way. We do own stock.
We own stock. We're
also,
owners.
If anyone is a diehard fan of whatever team, you usually say we just because you're part of it.
Yeah, you're part of the team. Like,
yeah.
It's
I always hate when people say, you're not part of the team.
I'm part of the team. It's like, I can't do better. I mean, like, the Madden player I made of myself is like...
Of course.
Like, they called me NJ7K because I was a running back, would average 1,000 yards, kick, or 8K, 1,000 yards kick returning, punt returning, 3,000 yards receiving, and 3K rushing.
What he won't tell you is it was on the easiest difficulty.
No, it was on All Pro.
Yeah, I'm sure. So, obviously, for the 3 viewers we have, if you want Nick to stream him playing Madden, just let me know. Yeah,
I'm not good at Madden. Why would they watch me on stream?
You just said your nickname was NJ for Nick Johnson.
Nick Johnson and AK.
It
wasn't, but
let's get to the talking
points.
Right,
so what we do you want to take?
All right, how last season ended: 13 wins. Rodgers won his 3rd MVP.
Mm-hmm.
The quietest 48 touchdown season you'll ever
without
hear.
question. I mean, he's the only quarterback ever to throw for 40 touchdowns in multiple seasons. No one, I'm 100%. Or excuse me, I'm sorry. To do it 3 times. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Brady did
3 times.
Brady did it last year.
Brady did it last year, and Peyton Manning did it twice. Forgive me. 3 times. No quarterback has done it 3 times.
Yeah, because Brady did it when he broke 50 had 50 touchdowns,
had 50.
Then had 40 last year, and Peyton
had 45.
48, 49, and then 55.
49, excuse me, 49, then 55, which is the current record.
So
45. I knew something was wrong.
So he had 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Needless to say, it was a quietly, historically great season. Yeah. Maybe because fans weren't in the stadium. I don't know.
Like, it definitely had an impact, they said.
But going into our new outlook next year, players we've lost this year.
Jamal Williams.
Yeah.
Like that Jamal, I love you, man. If you're watching this, that's pretty cool. But, like, but he... We lost Jamal, and he went to the Lions, which I think the Lions are going to get a very solid running back in maybe he has starter potential, but I think he is a very consistent running back that could get you potentially 40 all-purpose yards a game.
I think when we bring up the Lions part, once we get to the Lions, we'll discuss him more.
Yeah, we'll discuss him more.
But I agree. Losing him, he was good for. I think he had total 700 to 800 all-purpose yards, and 2 years ago he had 5 receiving touchdowns.
Yeah.
So it's not like
it's not like he was a schmo. He was absolutely he was a part.
He was a good he was a good part of our offense. He was a weapon that we used.
Yep,
for
he
sure.
was. He was for sure a weapon.
And we never once felt when he would spill out Aaron Jones that we would ever miss a beat, and we really didn't. He was great. Really good pass blocker also.
Yeah, he complimented Aaron Jones very well. And I think that they both got along very well as
they're best friends. Same draft, actually.
Same draft, yeah. And then we also lost Corey Linsley. That's the big one.
The biggest one.
All
pro center.
All pro center.
The best center in football. We lost him. He's 29 years old. We kind of got it. We knew every team salary cap was terrible because of due to COVID. Everyone's every team had a smaller salary cap this year. So Corey Linsley leaving, we kind of saw writing on the wall there. You lose a first team All Pro at any position.
It's very hard to replace.
It's tough.
It's very tough, and I mean he's reunited with Brian Balaga now, and I almost said San Diego, but for the Chargers in LA. The
Chargers got a great player. They got Herbert out there. They got the best center in football to shore up their offense. Yeah. I mean it was a smart move by them.
Going from a Pouncey to a Linsley, not a bad.
Yeah. I forgot he retired. And
oh wait, no, I'm sorry. Was he on the Dolphins? Pouncey.
I mean, there are 2 of them. I don't know, man.
There's 2 of them. There's a lot of Pounceys, but.
And then the last one as of today was
Lane Taylor. Very solid contributor. Very consistent. I felt like he was consistent. He was never really the best offensive player, but he was very serviceable.
You can't have enough quality offensive linemen.
Agreed.
And Lane Taylor was that. Unfortunately, at the beginning of the season, he tore his ACL right off the bat. And he actually, from what we had read and heard, he had a great training camp. Aaron even said he had his best training camp. So we were excited because anytime you want a good offensive line, lost him right off the bat. So really, really felt bad for the guy. You never want to see injury on any player on any team. We hate it. It's the worst part of sports. So that's a bit of a bummer. We always hate when players leave our team.
Yeah.
Flip side. Who did we retain? We retained 2 smaller contract guys. First one, big dog, Mercedes Lewis.
Aaron loves big dog. Big dog's a great locker room guy and a great blocking tight end, even at his age, 36, I believe.
36, 37. I believe he caught 3 touchdowns last year.
Yep.
I mean, he's sure-handed, catches everything. Blocks that's really his key attribute is he can block. Tremendous. And of course we kept Kevin King.
Very rough NFC Championship with King, but you know what? He had 5 interceptions in 2019. Hopefully we get that Kevin King and not the one that got burned by Scotty Miller.
Well, I always hate I never like someone's last game for us
to be so burned
to be a bad taste in your mouth.
Right.
And I felt bad for him.
I do too. He was getting a lot of hate, and even though obviously he didn't have a great game, but
it was rough. But like Nick said, 2019 he had a great year. 2019.
Yeah.
So next year he signed a 1-year deal. We're bringing back the whole secondary again, all starting. So that's positive thinking. You're keeping all the starters together, so that's great because they feed off one another. And then, of course, the big signing of keeping of a player, Aaron Jones.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no question, and Nick and I have discussed this, he's a top 5 running back.
Yeah.
Anyone can debate it. I get it. You can spit out names. Last year, for sure, there were a lot of injuries, but He's gone back-to-back seasons of 1,000 yards
Yep.
and 10-plus touchdowns.
I believe so. Yeah, he's a touchdown machine.
Yeah.
He's and he's still like, I hate saying for a running back, he's for running back, it's so, the way they quote unquote age, because when you reach 29, you are considered an older running back. He's what, 26?
26.
He's my age, which is pretty scary. What am I doing with my life?
Yeah, I mean, well, you're rushing for where you're getting
and
8,000
NJ
yards.
8K.
You're getting 8,000 yards on rookie mode in Madden. That's what you're doing.
It wasn't real. It was all pro. But the thing is with Aaron Jones is that I do think that as great as he is, I think that he's going to potentially benefit better with A.J. Dillon, and that's kind of what we're going to talk about next with players we think are going to step up. On the offensive side, I think A.J. Dillon is going to have a tremendous season. I think he, as our number 2 back going into next year, barring any injury, which I pray does not happen for any player, but A.J. Dillon, Quadzilla, is just going to run over the competition like that.
Yeah, Nick skipped a couple talking points.
I did, but we were going to, does it matter what order we go in?
Yes. All right. So we're gonna kind of jump back. I agree with Nick. I'll piggyback off that. Aaron Jones re-signing, absolutely massive. He means so much to this offense. Quite honestly, outside of Rodgers and Bakhtiari, unfortunately, ACL.
And David Devontae.
Well, our best 2 weapons, Devontae, Aaron Jones. It's been that way for 3 years.
Yep.
It's not going to change next year. Aaron Jones is going to see his carries, barring any crazy injury, knock on wood. Aaron Jones is going to get 1,000 yards. He'll get 10-plus touchdowns.
Yeah.
There's no other way. So retaining those guys are huge. The other big things that occurred this offseason for us were coaching changes.
Mm-hmm.
So we hired a new defensive coordinator. Now the defense finished we got 9th in total yards.
9th in total yards for defense. We finished 13th in rushing. We finished 13 in points as well. And
13
7th in passing, and a lot of that for 7th in passing goes to Jair Alexander as well as Adrian Amos and Darnell Savage.
Alexander Island.
Is that really his nickname? They're stealing Darrell's nickname?
That's what he's posted. Well, maybe he hasn't. I've seen it. I don't know. Maybe I'm just blowing smoke, but he's...
I kind of hope it would be something original, but...
I'll go out on a limb. Other than Jalen Ramsey, Alexander's the best corner in football. And if you don't...
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
When you play for Green Bay, small market, you're not going to get the publicity you should. And Alexander is...
He got his... I thought he should have been a first-team All-Pro. He was second-team All-Pro.
He was not a first-team All-Pro, which...
It was Jalen Ramsey and...
I'm okay with Ramsey getting...
Oh, I'm okay with Ramsey is the best corner in football.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. But, so, we got a new defensive coordinator. He's got...
Joe Barry.
Yeah, Joe Barry. We have some pieces already. As Nick and I have said, Alexander is in his, 3rd year now?
Jair, no, his rookie year was 2018.
So
this will be his 4th year, and then odds are, they'll pick up his 5th year option for you have to with him.
Our secondary's awesome. He's awesome, and then our safeties, Amos and Savage, and then the Smith brothers. Preston I'll bring up him later, but Kenny Clark. So we have pieces there. He's got some guys to work with. It's been a thorn in our side forever. Since
post Super Bowl, ever since 2011, it's been the defense has been holding us back, and obviously, I can't do better. But going back to who we picked, Joe Barry, I was a little hesitant when I heard he was the pick because he was the defensive coordinator for the Lions when they went 0-16 in 2008.
That's not good.
Claim to fame, I guess, but he was...
No such thing as bad publicity.
No such thing as bad publicity. Publicity.
Yeah, that one. Not the one that...
I had a shot and a half before we did this.
Don't tell people that.
Why? All right.
So then the other coach we added was special teams coach, and Nick and I both know. And if you're not an avid Packer fan, you would just watch and you just assume the defense kind of just doesn't step up. Well, when the defense is put at midfield majority of the times because their special teams was some of the worst special teams all year. You take Mason Crosby out of our special teams unit, the worst special teams unit in football. Mason Crosby is the only, and he's been doing that his whole career, other than one season where he was kind of bad. But other than that, he's been automatic. He didn't miss a field goal last year. Nick, he missed a couple of extra points.
He missed 1 or 2 extra points, which obviously
they were not determining factors of the games, so it was fine. So special teams needs to step up, and defense actually, they played it pretty well last year. Something Nick brought up too, turnovers. We need more turnovers.
Yeah, we were talking beforehand. Green Bay ended up with a +7 differential of turnovers, which is good. Whenever you end positive, I feel like it's...
Tell them what that means. A +7.
Oh, a +7? Yeah, they had, compared to how many turnovers they had, granted, that's the thing where you're like, well, we didn't turn over the ball that much. We had about 11 turnovers.
Okay, so the offense...
So we had 18. Offense turned the ball over.
Well, I shouldn't say the team as a whole, because you could fumble.
I thought you wanted me to say this, but...
Okay, go. You're right, go.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Like, no, if you want to take
go,
over...
Go.
No, it's fine.
You were doing a great job, and I butted.
Yeah, no, you butted in. But, so what happens is that our offense had 11 turnovers last year. Right? Like, pretty solid. Right? Very consistent. Our defense had a +7, so they had 18 turnovers on defense. Right? So they ended up with a +7 differential to their offense. You always want to end up positive compared.
Yeah. And that's great. So hopefully these new coordinators can come in and kind of take up like LaFleur did when he stepped in. And LaFleur, I know everyone says he inherited Aaron Rodgers, but he stepped in and really, back-to-back 13-win seasons is...
Back-to-back NFC Championship appearances and 13 wins.
No one wants to give him the credit he deserves, but whatever.
Granted, I'm not a fan of the going for the field goal, but...
neither is the Jeopardy contestant.
Neither was that Jeopardy contestant.
That was good.
So,
we're less than 2 weeks away from the NFL draft. Last year's draft was a bit controversial for us Packer fans. We didn't really get guys that contributed to last year, which is what made last year pretty insane for us, because it wasn't the draft class that A.J. Dillon did contribute, and you already talked about him. We'll bring him up later. The Jordan Love pick, it was it was a bit shocking because of numerous reasons. One, Rodgers has claimed he wants to stay on the team for past the age of 40. He doesn't show that he wants to retire. The difference between when Favre was playing was Favre flirted
contemplated retirement
for... He wanted to retire every season.
He wanted to retire, I think, when he was 34.
Yeah. And so now quarterbacks, as long as they're healthy, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers, all these guys play till their late 30s, early 40s. And so when he was doing that, the Packers were like, okay, we can't keep waiting for you. And Aaron Rodgers fell to them.
Yeah.
Jordan Love didn't fall to the Packers.
They traded up.
Yeah, they traded up for him. And so it was a total kick to the face of, because also, for those that don't know, you win Super Bowls on
rookie quarterback contracts or pay cuts that they take.
i.e. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. Because the last Super Bowl winning quarterback, I believe, to win on a non-pay cut, non-rookie deal is Eli Manning. But at that time, he wasn't even top 10 paid. So if you look at the last Patrick Mahomes on his rookie deal, Tom Brady always taking a pay cut.
Then you could say Nick Foles was
Jared Goff, Carson Wentz rookie deal. Same thing with Foles.
Carson wasn't. Yeah, you're right. Carson wasn't the starter, but he's still.
Everyone that's won or gone,
has been either a cheap signing or I hate saying cheap signing, like pay cut. Very not a salary cap like chunk.
You're not a top 5 paid quarterback, and that's look. You got to pay your quarterbacks, but anyway, they also drafted a tight end / H-back / fullback, and Josiah De Gura. He looked very promising last year. Unfortunately, I think around a couple early in the season, he tore his ACL, which once again, hate seeing injuries. Sounds like he's going to be coming back, so really excited about him. Thought of any pick last year, he was going to really contribute. But what we want to see, and we both kind of agree on this, everyone's going to pound the table. Every Packer fan will pound the table for wide receiver.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to go wide receiver this year.
I don't either.
They might take one later. I'm thinking they're going to go with David Bakhtiari, best left tackle in football, sexiest number out there, number 69. Also slams beers better than any other NFL player out there.
I agree.
You can't replace that.
You can't.
But what I think they're going to do is, I'd love to have a middle linebacker. As Nick knows, I was a huge Blake Martinez guy. Any Packer fan that was anti-Blake, I couldn't back it.
I think they were expecting way too much. They were expecting a Luke Kuechly version of Blake Martinez to come out, and I'm like, he's a 4th round.
He's a 4th round pick linebacker
that led the NFL in tackles,
and he broke the Packer tackle record in the 4 years he played for us, and missed one game. Started every game. So, and the big reason why the Giants are top 10 in defense.
Yeah.
So, Blake, if you're watching, I miss you, man. You're the best. But come join us sometime. But middle linebacker, Nick was telling me he thinks that they're going to go offensive tackle, which I kind of slightly agree.
Only slightly agree.
Well,
but
I guess early in the draft, if you're talking overall, they'll absolutely take.
Take a tackle. But I think if a left tackle falls to them, that they feel, hey, this guy can absolutely.
I think we're talking really first pick overall for our first pick overall.
The first pick overall, I could absolutely see them getting left tackle. I know. We were talking beforehand. I said that there's a chance they could take a center, which I would understand the pick, but I wouldn't necessarily agree with, because centers tend to fall, at least whenever I have seen. It seems like they seem to fall late into the draft. You can find a stud center in the 3rd and 2nd round.
I just want to make sure we're filming. Yeah, we are.
Yeah, we're filming?
Yeah, we are.
Okay, thank God. All right, that would have been. I maybe will have called it. I will have said, okay, I'm going home. I can't.
I would have called you an Uber.
Could you imagine if we weren't filming?
Oh God. Anyway, all right. So
going back to it, though, I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say I agree with Nick. We've seen some mock drafts on NFL.com and ESPN, and it has the Packers taking. I've seen really anything other than wide receiver, offensive lineman, or defense.
I've seen
cornerback.
Cornerback to complement Jair Alexander. I absolutely would be a fan of.
Don't get Nick and I wrong. If they took a wide receiver, we'd be pretty happy.
I would be very happy.
But I think they're gonna go. If I had to guess, because trying to guess what the Packers will take, you'll never guess right. Offensive tackle, linebacker, cornerback.
Yeah.
I think those are the top 3.
Yeah.
And if they go wide receiver, or if they go aggressive and I don't know what, they're good at safety. They're good at
safety. They're good at.
Could get defensive linemen potentially, but.
To complement, because who do we got? We got Kenny Clark and Dean Lowry still up there, correct?
The milkman.
Dean, the milkman.
Everyone keeps calling the Dean machine. There's no creativity there.
There's no creativity in nicknames. If your name has to be in it.
If your name rhymes or has to be in it, there's no creativity.
By the way, can we also agree that initials are also not a nickname?
Yeah.
AP? Yeah, that's short for Adrian Peterson.
Like Megatron. That's
Megatron. That is a nickname.
That's a nickname. Heck of a nickname. But the Dean machine, no. Dean's Milk. You play for the Dairy State, Milkman.
Milkman. It makes sense. It's just, right there. And I don't like to compliment him, but he came up with it, and I loved it.
Anyway, to move on for the draft. So we'll do another video of us post-draft because then we'll have a really good idea of what direction they're going to go. Now, Nick and I have both picked one player offensively, one player defensively. We think not only will step up, but will have kind of a pretty big season next year.
Yeah.
My first one is Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
Valdez.
Right. MVS. I'm sorry, MVS. I see on Twitch all the time and Twitter. Marquez
Valdez. Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
Good job.
MVS. I'm sorry.
MVS.
But as everyone knows, as a Packer fan, he has got some. He's dropped some balls, and really, I still think he's solid. One of the fastest player in the NFL. And that NFC Championship game, turn on that NFC Championship game and watch him. He caught every pass. That 50-yard touchdown he got from Aaron where he fought the corner, I was so proud of him because, one, he's a Packer. Two, all the fans that were talking crap after that Colts loss. And by the way, we were only in that situation
because of
him. He
got us to get to overtime that game.
You have no spine if you were a cyber bully and you're coming after these players and their livelihood. Because guess what? You're sitting on the couch and you would trade places with them in a heartbeat to have their athletic ability. So, cram it, MVS, love ya. I believe he had. Well, I know he tied for the most deep ball touchdowns with Tyreek Hill. And Tyreek Hill is, in my opinion, the best deep threat in football.
Yeah, he is.
So if he tied Tyreek Hill for the most deep threat touchdowns, look, he's coming into his fourth year. I'll say this. Look up Jordy Nelson's stats and look where he took off. A lot of people remember Jordy right in his prime. But his first 3-4 years, he didn't do a lot. He was very quiet. Special teams player. And actually, his big breakout year was towards the end of when they went to the Super Bowl. We went to the Super Bowl. Then the next season,
Rodgers' first MVP year. He broke out.
Yeah. But so that's my player, Marquez
Valdez-Scantling.
Sorry, Valdez-Scantling.
It's all good. My player, I was talking a little earlier before I was interrupted. A.J. Dillon on offense. I think he's going to be a key contributor. With Jamal Williams gone, as much as I love Aaron Jones, he's not really the power back that you need to get yards. If you're 3rd and 1, like sending Quadzilla. Like I do think Quadzilla, A.J. Dillon. See, that's a nickname. Quadzilla is a nickname. That's a nickname.
Nick is right.
Yeah.
100% a nickname.
100% a nickname. Quadzilla.
He's actually, side note, he's actually getting into the trading card game as well. I saw it on his Twitter.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, he is. So if you're watching this, we would love to have you. We actually pulled one of your rated.
Yeah, we got a rookie card of you.
Rated rookie cards. So would love to have you on this. And vice versa, / why would you invite us?
Yeah, like I kind of coughed there. I was like, yeah, why would he invite us?
But anyway, continue.
But yeah, no, I think A.J. Dillon with Jamal Williams leaving, I think he's going to be a key contributor. Again, barring any sort of, I hate when players get hurt, but I do think, heaven forbid, if Aaron Jones, like this past year, how he was out for a few games, I do think that A.J. Dillon could absolutely step up, be the power back we need. He's tough. He can run anyone over, I feel like.
That game against Tennessee, it was snowing.
That game against Tennessee, he showed he's like, yeah, hey, I can be. I'm very much worth a 2nd-round pick.
Yeah, he looked. He looked like the reason why they traded for him.
Yeah,
and he looks great. Now on the
did they trade up for him?
Sorry, drafted him, not trade up for him. Now on the defensive side, my pick is Preston Smith, who, for some reason, a lot of fans wanted to have him cut from the team to save salary because he had a down year. And I thought that was weird because the year prior, him and Zadarius, the Smith brothers, no relation, but they balled. They had heck of a seasons. Mm-hmm. I mean, two double-digit sack members. They were coming off the edge. This year, he took a little dip in his production. Also, the first half of the season, he was going out in coverage, I think about 40% of the time.
He was going out in coverage a lot.
So much that he stopped answering questions about him going into coverage.
Yeah.
And that's what's ridiculous is the first half he was going into coverage. Second half, he was playing great football. That the statistic as a sack, to get a sack is so hard. People measure defensive ends as, if they don't get a sack. If you get 10 sacks in a season, that's a great season.
That's an amazing year.
Now there's 17 games, but traditionally there's been 16 games a season. So that's one that doesn't even average to 1 sack a game. So what else are you doing? He was getting pressures. He was getting better. I liked it. I think he's going to step up next year.
I think so too.
That's just me.
I think so too.
Preston, I'm in your corner.
I also think that they used Rashawn Gary a lot more to press on, and Preston would go into coverage.
I'm all for putting Gary, Preston, Zadarius all on the field.
All on the field together. Yeah, I think that could be a absolute great combination.
And who are you going with?
I'm going with Darnell Savage. I wanted to say Gary, but I think that Gary really stepped up this year, so I'm going more with Darnell because even though Darnell, people talk about Jair as, of course, the big name, and then Adrian Amos, who I still think is quite a bit underrated, but he did have an all-pro caliber season with us, but
100% underrated. Our safeties are highly underrated.
But I think Darnell Savage has absolutely learned from Adrian Amos, and I think that Savage is going to absolutely ball out this year. I think he's going to show why he is a first-round pick, why that the Packers were right to take him. I think that he is going to have a sensational season.
Would you even say Pro Bowl?
I would potentially say Pro Bowl. Really? I mean, I'm kind of a homer. I know, we're a bit of a, we may come across as homers, especially for this take, but I think that Darnell Savage could be a Pro Bowler this year. I'm not sure if he would be the leading candidate, but I do think that he could have a great season where I could see him ending up with, 4 turnovers, where we talk about and.
I would say that's possible.
I think he's going to have a great year, and I think he's going to just completely fall out.
So now kind of wrapping up just our expectations of next year. Mm-hmm. We have both kind of predicted. So there's 17 games next year. That changes a bit of the outlook, and of course for the 17th game, it's how you finished the last year. But of course we pulled Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yep. On the road.
And the last time we were there, people will point out, we beat them by 1 touchdown. Oh, Patrick Mahomes didn't play.
Yeah.
So, if Mahomes plays, I'm not trying to be a downer, that in Arrowhead, doubtful we win that.
Arrowhead is a very tough place to win.
Doubtful we win that. Last time it was close to a backup quarterback. With Mahomes, they probably win that game.
Yeah.
And so... I still, even though I say that, I'm predicting we're going to win 13 games next year again, but 13-4 instead of 13-3. With
right.
One of those losses to the new 17th game, the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
And what about you?
I kind of had us going at 13-4. I tried to be more of a realist. I said 12-5 because there usually is some trap game. For every team, there's always a trap game in there. For Tampa Bay last year, it was the Chicago Bears, even though the Bears made the playoffs, but we'll get to the Bears some other day. But, for us, it was this past year, we went 13-3. It was, I would say it was the Vikings was our trap game. Granted, divisional games are easier to be trap games just because when you play a team twice a year or for so many, every single year, they know your strengths, weaknesses pretty well. So
it's weird when you say 12-5 or 13-4.
It's so weird when you say that.
The math doesn't really add up.
I'm not sure how I feel about this. Granted, that's a different topic. But
the NFL loves it. But so in expectations for really just kind of the 3 key players on our offense, and we'll conclude. Aaron Jones, we both agree, as long as he's healthy, with a 17th game, so that with the 17th game, players are going to shatter records.
Players are going to be breaking records. There's going to be a lot more 4,000-yard. I think there's going to be more 5,000-yard passers that we're going to see.
Absolutely. I mean, 5,000 yards won't be as amazing anymore.
No.
I mean, I say as amazing. I mean,
it's still quite the accomplishment if you get 1,000 yards rushing or receiving.
Yeah, no, that'll be, but,
and same thing with, even 4,000 yards, I'll still, I'll be like, that's a stat, but.
Yeah. No, you're right. So with Aaron Jones, I think we both agree.
Yeah, 1,000 yards.
1,000, because he gets receiving also. So you're going to add his 1,000 rushing plus whatever receiving, 10 plus total touchdowns.
I think so too. I think it's going to be very reminiscent of last year. I'm not sure if he'll ever have, even though I would love it to happen, I'm not sure if he'll ever have that 2019, Pro Bowl snub year, but.
Yeah, he didn't make the Pro Bowl.
He did not make the Pro Bowl. He made it this past year, 2020. But
he had 19 touchdowns?
He had 19, I believe.
19 touchdowns and you don't make the Pro Bowl?
You don't make the Pro Bowl.
It's weird what happens when you play for a small market. Weird.
But
we both agree. Going to our best weapon, and it's not even close, Davante Adams. Nick and I, there's a little discrepancy. He had 18 touchdowns last year, 1,300 yards. I say he's going to be yards-wise around there, 12 to 1,300. Touchdowns, I'm going to say 15. To get 18 again or better, that would be back-to-back. I don't know if that's happened.
Maybe Jerry Rice once did it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it was 18, though. It might have been 18 and then 12, which is still, 30 touchdowns in 2 years is.
Yeah.
But... I have Davante at 1,500. I think Davante is going to have more yards. I think, knock on wood, heaven forbid, any sort of injury, Davante is going to get 1,500. I think he's going to get
so if you're
100 plus receptions, but I do think his touchdowns may go down at 12.
If you're predicting 15, that means he would flirt with beating Jordy Nelson's single season.
I think that is a high, especially with the 17th. Yes.
You're calling it
I'm calling it right now. I think Davante, barring any injury,
breaks Jordy Nelson's single.
If he plays
the Packers single season,
if he plays record. All
yards,
17 games, he will break Jordy Nelson's receiving yard record.
Okay, we should have a hot take section on this as well. That would be a good.
I think he's going to do it.
And then finally, to end this whole discussion, Aaron Rodgers, where do we think he's going to end? Couple things. The media is going to be all over this. Anytime you win MVP the next year, you usually dip a little bit. Yeah. Now, two things. We lost the best center in football. We lost the best left tackle in football due to an injury, and he won't be back for a while. Our offensive line is going to be worse. There's a good chance Aaron's numbers won't be as good because his line is worse. The media will say, well, Aaron's taking a step back. Many fans will say, he's taking a step back. You got to be a realist. You got to sit there and say, well, why is he taking a step back? Could it be his age? Absolutely, it could happen. What's more realistic? His offensive line got worse.
Yeah. And Grant, I forgot to bring this up too, but I do think the addition for Rodgers, he will like playing with Devin Funchess for a little bit, and
you get
hopefully for the whole season.
You get Josiah De Gura coming back on an ACL, and Devin Funchess, who opted out last year for COVID protocol, which awesome. He had family to take care of, and if he comes back, you could argue Davante's the wide receiver 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, and then everyone else. Everyone does great things. MVS, great speed.
Alan Lazard is great at possession.
He is a heck of a blocker. Yeah. I'll even say top 5 receiving blocker for Lazard. Yeah. And then from there, kind of dips. If you go wide receivers, then obviously the Tunyon, Robert Tunyon, Bobby. 11 touchdowns last year, Pro Bowl snub.
Yeah.
But
Evan Ingram in front of him.
Yeah, so there are some weapons there, but I think Funchess, I agree with Nick, can come in. Aaron will do well. We both agree. No quarterback goes 40 touchdowns and then 40 plus and then 40 plus. It's never happened in the history. Aaron's going to throw for 30 plus. I have him. He'll probably end with 32, 33.
Again, barring any sort of injury, I agree. I think he's going to throw for 4,400 yards, and I do think he's going to end up with 34 touchdowns, maybe 1 rushing, like he typically does.
It could be less because if Aaron Jones goes off again,
Yeah, if that's the thing, too, is something I wanted to bring up, is that when people talk about, Rodgers had a off, granted, they went to the championship, the NFC championship that year in 2019, we got killed by San Francisco. When people bring up, oh, Rodgers took a step back in 2018, and then, oh, he's looking old. 2019, he's looking old. Aaron Jones went off. Like, I mean, he's handing the ball off to a guy who's scoring 19 times. I'm like,
I think he scored 16 rushing, 3 receiving.
3 receiving.
Yeah.
I'm like, guys.
So he's a monster. So that's the other thing is if Aaron's numbers might dip, but did our rushing offense get better?
Yeah,
is Aaron Jones having another great spectacular season? Is AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones having a spectacular season? Because a lot of our plays last year, the play action for Aaron was tremendous because after Aaron Jones broke out, then last year everyone keyed on, and you look at it, the first game of the season, the Vikings keyed. They said that they keyed on Aaron Jones. They weren't keying on Rodgers. And then Rodgers took off.
Rodgers just absolutely obliterated that secondary. And
But, guys, thank you for listening to us Scubs. We are grateful for anyone that watches this, anyone that has comments, anyone that agrees, anyone that disagrees, anyone that has a great point to make. Post it, comment. That'd be awesome. Nick and I we're kind of getting into this. We like it. We're hoping to have some of our buddies on here who are fans of different teams and get different perspectives. So, as always, we greatly appreciate it. We hope you guys continue, and thank you.
Thank you so much. Take care.